When an iconic superhero gets a new superhero suit, it can either make or break a character. Like recently, Tom Holland got a new Spider-Man suit, and all the people who hated the MCU Spider-Man are now glazing this man and are now saying he is the superhero with the most aura, which is just an insane switch up to have. But it's not surprising since we have seen how all it takes is a good superhero suit to make people love certain superheroes in live action. Like how Ben Affleck's Batman has only been in bad movies as Batman, and there are still people saying till this day that he is the best Batman ever in live action. But the worst thing that can happen to a superhero suit is for it to start off really good and to start off almost nearly perfect and slowly watch your favorite superhero get a worse suit over the course of all the movies he's in, as you slowly watch a good superhero suit that used to be perfect crumble right before your eyes as it gets worse and worse and worse over time till you don't even recognize the suit anymore. And I want to talk about some of the biggest downgrades when it comes to superhero suits in history, because for some reason both Marvel and DC love taking these iconic costumes and making them worse over time. Like the biggest example of a superhero suit being perfect from the start and then just for it to get worse over time is for the MCU's poster boy Iron Man. Like I don't know how they peaked so early on when it came to Iron Man suits, but when it came to Iron Man's Mark III suit in Iron Man 1, they decided to make it so peak that no other Iron Man suit could ever compare to Iron Man's original superhero suits. Because when Iron Man puts on his iconic Mark II suit and we get one of the best suit up scenes ever in superhero history, and then he goes on to take down tanks, wipe out soldiers, and he's just ore farming in general when it comes to the Mark II suits. Like we will never reach this level of peak ever again, since after Iron Man 1 we slowly see Iron Man suits getting worse and worse over time. And at first you don't really notice that it's starting to get worse and worse over time, since it starts out very subtle with them changing, certain colors of the suit, adding extra padding or adding extra pieces of armor that just throw it off just a little bit. But then when you finally compare Iron Man's 1 suit to Endgame suits, you start to really see the difference, and you can really tell Marvel really lost the plot and started way over designing their suits. And it also didn't help that the actor who played Iron Man, RDJ, didn't want to wear practical suits anymore, so sometimes it just looks like Iron Man's head is just floating in the air. But this is not exclusively a Marvel issue, because DC also has this problem as well, where they start to get way off track when it comes to their superhero suits, that DC starts to noticeably downgrade these suits for no reason. Like Batman is a great example of not knowing what to do with their suits, where we could get some of the most iconic Batman suits ever with the iconic yellow bat symbol, but then go from that iconic 80s Batman suit to getting a Batman suit that has nipples on it and having a jock strap with it. Like, yeah, we definitely downgraded pretty heavily here.
You weird, buddy.
And don't even get me started on Ben Affleck's Batman suits. He had one of the best first appearance suits in all of Batman history, to giving him a classic gray look that looks like it's ripped straight from the comics, and also to giving us this super cool looking Batman with armor. Like he just looks amazing in his first appearance. Like even though we can all agree that Batman vs Superman does suck pretty bad, we can also agree that Batman suits in Batman vs Superman were pretty heat. But after Batman vs Superman, Ben Affleck's suits gets bad pretty fast, since once we get to the Flash movie only 2 movies later, we see the worst bat suit to ever be put on screen. And that's saying something, since bat nipples does exist, but for some reason the Batman suit in the Flash looks like it was made by an intern who lied on his resume, because this is probably the worst thing I've ever seen on screen. And I know most of you guys have never probably seen this suit, since apparently it's the biggest bomb in movie history, but this suit definitely does go in the Hall of Fame when it comes to one of the worst superhero suits in history, even if no one knows about this suit.
It's pretty difficult to put into words how disgusted I am, how depressed I am.
And speaking about Batman, we definitely have to talk about his greatest rival, the Joker. Now, even though he's not a superhero, he's still in the superhero zeitgeist, and oh boy, can I talk about Joker's costumes. They're all definitely all iconic, some for good reasons and some for horrible reasons. But for some reason, every Joker costume has this cycle where it's super cool when we first see it, and it's a new take on the Joker, just for that look to be taken over by edgelords who think that Joker was spitting facts, and or by self-proclaimed Sigma males who love putting Heath Ledger's Joker over every Sigma cult. But even though every Joker suit gets taken over by the average Redditor, the movie designs do cook pretty hard. And yes, I'm not afraid to say that I also like the Jared Leto's design, and it isn't that horrible like everyone says it is. And I know that's a pretty hot take, you're probably booing me and leaving all these hate comments down below, but I kind of like the idea that a Joker would just randomly become a crime boss for a couple weeks, because that's kind of the Joker's vibe, he kind of just does whatever he wants. But then Jared Leto had to ruin this concept by being the weirdest guy on earth, and ruin what could have been a cool concept.
You don't want no beef? You don't want no beef?
And speaking about villain designs getting ruined over time, I think supervillains probably have it worse than superheroes, since usually heroes start off with bad suits and then get good ones over time, while villains will start off with a bad suit and then get killed in that same movie, so they'll forever be stuck wearing one of the worst suits known to man. Like, look at Ultron and Bane, both villains who look pretty decent in their own movie appearances, but when you look at what they could have looked like in their comics and in concept art, they pale in comparison to their comic counterparts. Or if you look at a character like Lex Luthor in Batman vs Superman, or Mandarin in Iron Man 3, we get so far away from what the character originally looked like that you have to even wonder, did the writers even know who they're adapting, or if they're even the same character? And talking about this, it definitely makes me worried for the new Doctor Doom, because he will probably have to face both of these issues with him not looking like the original Doctor Doom, or having a suit that looks as cool as the OG Doctor Doom. But for all I know, RDJ as Doom is just one big dream sequence that we're all going to wake up from and realize that no way Marvel was this desperate to cast RDJ as Doctor Doom, because I personally don't blame RDJ for taking this role, because apparently he's getting paid $100 million to play Doctor Doom. If I saw that money right in front of me, I would fold if they told me anything for that money, and I mean anything. But when talking about superhero suits, I definitely have to talk about the superhero suit that definitely gets the most criticism when it comes to getting a new superhero suit, and that superhero is obviously Spider-Man.
Oh shit, here we go again.
Because for some reason, every Spider-Man fan has this undying hatred when it comes to Spider-Man suits. They believe that if a Spider-Man suit isn't perfect, the movie is ruined, because the Spider-Man suit didn't have enough blue or red on it. Like, I genuinely believe that some Spider-Man fans would sacrifice a family member to get their favorite suit put into live action. Because for some reason, every Spider-Man suit always has this niche fan base that will ride or die for a Spider-Man suit that you have never heard of. Like, for example, the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit is definitely the worst Spider-Man suit to ever be put into live action. And there will definitely be some person in the comments that will actually say this is their favorite suit and provide you with a math equation to show you why it's so perfect. Like, Spider-Man fans are so fixated on the way Spider-Man looks that they will fund a fan-made Spider-Man movie who is apparently filled with a bunch of racists who are apparently filled with some of the worst people known to man in the fan-made movie Spider-Man Lotus, just because they got to see a Spider-Man live-action suit that looked like the comics, which is just an insane level of passion for a superhero suit, since in my opinion, I personally believe that we peaked in Spider-Man suits when we got the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man suits. And Tobey Maguire will forever be my GOAT when it comes to Spider-Man suits because of the gray webbing. But for me, I personally don't care what Spider-Man looks like as long as there is a good story, which I know some Spider-Man fans would sacrifice a good story for a good Spider-Man suit. Spider-Man 2 fans. And every time I get deeper into the Spider-Man suit fandom, I learn more and more about how unhinged they are, because they treat Spider-Man suits like they're some type of movie critic whose life is on the line. Because apparently now they're criticizing Venom suits for having the logo connect to the back, which was a huge shock to me, since apparently Spider-Man fans hate designs like Venom's design from Marvel Rivals and Venom's PS5 Spider-Man design, which is crazy since they look like regular Venom suits to me, but since there are a couple lines that connect, they're ready to hate on it with every fiber of their being. Just wait until they see the new all Venom design. They're about to have a mental breakdown when they see that Venom design. But let me know what you guys think is the biggest downgrade when it comes to superhero suits. I know there are some people who hate over-designed suits and some people who hate too comic accurate suits because they look goofy. But let me know what side of the fence you're on. I think both can be done right, but I much prefer the comic accurate one. But that's all for today. I just wanted to yap about superhero suits, and more of the story is that Spider-Man's noir suit is the best Spider-Man suit ever. Later, hater. Peace.